loop back. Okay. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. All right. Yeah, I forgot to plug my mic. It's feel I haven't been streaming for a long time, and I kind of got rusted about this setup. So I kind of forgot, like, yeah, like today is a bit messed up. It's a bit messed up. It's like I don't know what to do, or like I forgot to do this thing or forgot to do that thing. Yeah, it's been a week, like a whole week, right? So how's the day? How's it going? Are you on the holiday already? Yeah, yeah, new glass. Uh, yeah. So my previous one broken, and I got a few backup. So yeah, now I have to wear this. I guess this is more, I don't know, like the style align more to my avatar, I guess. Right. While working. Cool. Would you count my, like, watching the live streaming from the others as part of your work as well? Okay. Yeah, we have a few minutes to go. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, of course not work. Um, but yeah, I think that's a good way. Because I kind of feel sometimes a bit guilty or a bit shame that my live stream sometimes may not offer the value I would expect. So I would sometimes feel that if my content would be a little bit boring or a bit like useless or like without too much content, and because like previously I was struggle doing like debugging things without any progress, and I feel bad about it. But yeah, if you have something to do uh along the side, maybe that would be better. You work for WordPress. Okay. I I actually, I think I actually never built a WordPress site, or maybe once, I don't know, but that feels super long time. But I guess that's, you see that WordPress is still very, how do I say? It's like the percentage of usage is still very high, and I guess the user experience is okay, and well, that the setup is quite straightforward, and the community is super large, so that even though nowadays if you are using WordPress, you still get the job done, right? And you still got a very good, but maybe it's not the best design CMS, but it gets the work done, I guess. And I mean, there's a lot of project that want to be the next modern WordPress, and but I guess we are still a long way to go. I think that's after this project, um, I will get to work on different project from time to time on the streaming. So for now, I would like to focus on this project until it gets until it reach to a certain stage. So we can say, okay, we can graduate from this project, and we call that a series of the streaming. So that's if you want that, you can go from the very beginning to the end to see how this project built, and hopefully it can help you to build something similar if you want to do that. And yeah, and then like after this, there's a lot of projects that I would like to work on and show you. And because like when I'm not streaming, I work on some of the other project, and maybe I will show you later about something I've been working on recently. But I think sometimes it's also interesting to work on those projects. But for this, it's like let's have a good finish about this, and then we can think about what the topic we would like to do. Okay, so let's start. So I think let's go through the commit first. So what do you which one we end up with? Last week. So it will be which date is this? I guess it's maybe wait here this one. I think it's this one, right? So remember that's the problem that we had is like the type. So the type from CDN, if we are using Vola CDN, and so here let's check the file. I think it's here. So basically previously we were using this for like create file JS deliver file system, and we do these things that we copy that from view repo, and they kind of got the job done and they got the type inference. But the thing we want to do is like we want to get the local TypeScript working, because we have our local TS config and the config that generated by Nuxt. So we want to link them together so that Nuxt can control Vola. The Nuxt inside the web container can control Vola. So it makes more sense rather than just we can build the context of multiple files in the web container file system rather than a single file that's just resolve the type from JS deliver that's are not connected. So we want to swap this JS deliver file system to our web containers file system, and we kind of struggle a little bit about this. So I add a flag about this to keep that logic. But here is our logic. Here is the logic that we implement, and the context.host file system. The context host file system read file is a proxy to the web container, and it didn't work at the last streaming. And so I later, so I think this is the commit that we did on the streaming. And then after the streaming, I spent some time to find out what's the cause of it. And this is the cleanup. What is the cleanup? I think this is basically a refactor. So I just want to make these things more structured. Yeah, I think there's nothing fancy here. So, and then we have okay, so we have improved Vola file system resolving. So this is a work in progress. Okay, so so the thing here is pretty interesting. So I guess that's here, right? So remember here we did that. So we check if this file is So we basically have this status function that's the TypeScript will try to search for different types, like go through a directory, and this function is being called quite frequently to see what's if the file exists or what the type of the file is. So so this function we implement that way because this like statically expose two function. It's file dot is directory and file is file. So I mean, there's a at that time I was thinking, okay, this should just be a to if, right? So it can be a directory or a file, but okay. So here I try to see if there's anything that can go beyond this. Is there any file that is not either directory or a file? So I print an arrow here. And then here I just like trying to print an arrow, trying to find what is happening. And I think that's it. So I just expand these things. I try to hijack JS deliver URL resolver to see what is going on. And that's it. So I try to see what is going on, right? And so then I finally got the Vola working, and that is I think the main course is like here. And if I print the file, you'll see there is a hidden attribute called dash type, and when it's not a file or a directory, the file type is 3. So we know that 1 is for file, 2 is for directory, and actually we got a file. So it's neither a file or a directory. And that turns out to be a symbol link created by PnPm. So every folder under node modules are actually a symbol link. So that means they are not files or directory. So our check is like basically to say the previous check will say if it's not a file, if it's not a directory, we just go. But it turns out it's possible. So in that case, we just treat them as a directory, and because like and this is like magically works. I mean, it's not super magically, but it's like when we kind of bail out these else, so when we just return undefined, right? Because we don't return anything, and when it's being returned undefined, the TypeScript resolver will think that this file does not exist. So it will try to look at node module / view, and then it says, okay, it's a symbol link, so we returns undefined, and TypeScript thinking, okay, this file does not exist. So it will looking for the other file, but none of them exist. So so this is pretty interesting. So so the fix is basically we check if it's a file. It's a file, we return a file, and if it's not, we just have it as a directory. Because for the existing check, we already have this. So we remember that we read the directory and we find that file. And if the file does not exist, and then we just return undefined. So the file must be exist, but it can be files or the other types. So when it's not file, we just treat them as directory, and yeah, and that's it. So so that's the thing that's the type was not resolved. It's just because that we are not serving those files correctly, and now with this fix, it works. And I also changed the Monaco editor to Monaco editor core, and because I have a weird error in the web worker, and I don't know why. And also like since Vola's example is all provide, since Vola kind of provide all the examples with Monaco editor core, so I just switched to a core. I mean, there's basically no feature. I think that the Monaco editor is built on top of Monaco editor core, and Monaco editor core is from VS Code repository itself. So it's adding some new features, adding some enhancements on top of Monaco editor core, but it seems that we are not using those things. So so I just switched to Monaco editor core to kind of just exam out a little bit of the arrow, so that I could just align more with the Vola's example, and they worked. So yeah, and that's the main thing that's we were struggling from, and now it's been fixed. And then a few other things, I think. And then read tsconfig. So I just clean that, remove the CDN. And also I look into the implementation of this decorate service environment. And I think I can show you. So it's volar. So if I search this function, it's here. So see that the function is actually quite simple. It's just 40 lines, and it just assign these two functions, files, file name to URL and URL to file name, and then assign a file system object. So then I saw that we don't actually need this function. So because actually we don't have any special handling about file name to UI, and we don't have these things. So because they already provide a default one, so we just keep that as a default one. And the thing we're going to do is just swapping the file system. So we don't need this function. We can just assign this. So here, in this commit, I just changed to file system, and basically that's it. So we just remove the whole dependency of the Vola CDN, and yeah, and make things easier. Yeah, and then I got the tsconfig loading working, I think. So inspect console. Okay, and all right. So here, in the reload language tools, that's when it's called reload language tool, it's actually also initialize the language tools. So in this file, I just try to read the content of tsconfig. If this it can be non-exist, right? When the server is not ready, or when the Nuxt haven't generated that file. So we try to read that file, and if that file exists, we try to parse it. And because the tsconfig is actually a JSON-C, a JavaScript, sorry, it's a JSON with comments. So we need to scribe the comments in order to use JSON to parse it. Otherwise, it will throw because the JSON.parse does not understand comments. So I think this comes from a package here. So you got this package, but also you can use JSON-C parser, but I think that will be a little bit heavier. And then we got the content, and we need to resolve back the path from because the file is generating inside the .nuxt/tsconfig, so the path is relevant to that. So we just change back to the root directory, and just let you know that even though that's when we are working with TypeScript, the tsconfig can be extended or can have multiple roots, right? And that is that's a command line feature. So that means that when we're using TypeScript, they don't have this resolve. They only accept one single compiler option, and it does not have any include or exclude option. So basically, we just try to resolve all the paths, and then we pass the tsconfig. And we pass the tsconfig, and then I think this is actual file. So we kind of force this load to load this file, and I think that's it. So the tsconfig will be passed through the Vola the view worker, and Vola would grab that information. So and I think that's it. So I can show you what this look like. All right, I think I better merge these things, right? So where is it? Merge all window. Yep. So I'll just start a server. It's 3000. All right. So you see here is basically nothing right now, and it's way to install the dependency. I'm wondering that's okay. It's being cached, right? Okay, it's cached. All right, and when to restart, and you see, and we got the define Nuxt config. So that means here we got the types. We got the types from Nuxt. And yeah, I mean I shouldn't change this file because it's forced. It forced Nuxt to reload. And so here we got the types, and in the view we also have the type, and we can also change to ref, and ref has its types, and here it's fine with that because it's being unwrapped. And also like if you change to a number here, you got an arrow. So yeah, that's pretty nice, all right? And also like so I think for the Nuxt page you also have this. You also have the type for Nuxt page. So basically if you have a name with a number, you also get an arrow. Yeah, that's great. So so we basically got the Vola working as well as the Nuxt context. And I guess that if you have the auto import, the auto import will also work because like you can have runtime config, use runtime config, right? And yeah, you got these things, and runtime config. And that's right. I'm not so sure. App dot. So we can try public, right? And public there's nothing at this moment. I think client info is what we did. So that's right. So what if we do runtime config, and then we have a public here. So we have a foo, which is equal to bar, and we save it. And would that work? Missing semicolon. It doesn't make sense. Let's refresh the terminal. I guess there's a maybe some hard module replacement thing. All right. So we could improve that, but if we do that, and okay, you see that we have the type for foo, and the type is string. Okay, that's nice. So actually I haven't tried that, but you see that it's working. So that means so far so good. All right, and I wonder why this server is not booting. Oh, because this, right? I guess that's I shouldn't create so many arrows. I don't know. So yeah. All right. It works. So if we do hello, and then we have uppercase hello. Yeah. Okay. So so this is it, and I think we have a few commits coming. So so I swap from Monaco. Here I think here is the package. So we used to have a package for which one is it? This one. I think it's for wait, is that this one? Yeah. So we use Monaco TextMate and Monaco editor TextMate to bind the TM grammar to Monaco. So and I think this is a bit like technical detail, but I'll just explain. So so Monaco is is coming from the VS Code source base, right? So it's actually the same editor as VS Code. You see that this is basically the same as your VS Code, right? But it's a bit like slimmed down version, so it's not full feature VS Code, of course, and you didn't get a lot of things, and also like for example like you don't have extension, you don't have a lot like maybe I don't know, but it's like there's some feature missing, and they didn't include it in Monaco to make the size acceptable to embed it in a web page instead of like loading the full VS Code inside. I mean, you could, but that would be not efficient and not for our case. So one thing that's been cut off is the TS grammar. So sorry, TM grammar. So TM grammar is a TextMate grammar. So TextMate is the editor, right? TextMate was a kind of a popular editor at that time, and it got a kind of very nice grammar system, and then I think VS Code decided to inherit that. So VS Code also used the TextMate grammar. So that existing TextMate grammar can be reused by VS Code directly. So that basically everything you see is a TextMate grammar. It's powered by TextMate grammar, so it's super accurate. You will see that compared to a kind of a client-side solution, this will be a lot more accurate because, oh yeah, if you want to see, so here, I can see that if you open the command palette and you can do token, inspect editor tokens. I think, yeah, it's inspect editor tokens and the scope. So you can click on top of it, and like on each token, it will tell you that is a semantic token type, and what's the foreground value, and the main thing is this TextMate scopes. So it tells you, it tells the editor that there's a different role for this identifier, for this function name. It can be identity name function, or it can be a meta definition function, or it can be a block arrow, something like that. And the thing, the grammar thing will tell that which certain blocks that it wants to highlight. So for example, like so I think it comes from the top down. So if a grammar, if a color thing, like providing color for this entity name function TS, it will be providing, it will be highlight at that. So it will looking from top to down to find the color for that definition. So that means it's quite accurate because each token contains multiple info, and for example, like you can highlight differently with different scope. Like you can have like the function in TS or in JS can have different colors as well if you want. And this like here, I think also here you can have this. So I can have a brace, and then I could give a color. I can give different color for it. So this will be like super nice. And but for Monaco, the TextMate grammar is being removed for some reason, and instead it's being replaced by a a slimmed down version. So if you do Monaco thing editor, so it's a different theming system, and so I think if I search for TextMate, so that means the VS Code thing. I don't okay, there is also a converter. I think it's here, right? So basically, I remember there is a documentation. But basically, it means that you cannot directly use the sim from your VS Code thing because they are not compatible. They are not the same thing. And this project that we were previously using is Wine TM grammar, and what it does is like it runs a tokenizer from VS Code TextMate, and then assign assign the scope to that to Monanco. So in Monanco, you can have the same look and feeling as VS Code TextMate. As VS Code, well, that's the simming logic is kind of offside from Monanco. It's like being controlled over. So so this package is being a while, and it works kind of okay. But I'm not so sure if you noticed that before this is kind of white out. It's trading as a text, but not get a syntax highlight between that, and that annoys me a lot. So I swap this. I kind of re-implement this logic in Shiki. So I created a package called Shiki Monanco, and it basically that Shiki to handle it, which is underlying is the same logic of this package, but instead of like using the role dependency, I can reuse Shiki. So that if you use Shiki in another place to do the syntax highlight, they can share the same instance. So it's basically calling this, and then I can get the syntax highlight fixed on Shiki side. So I think Shiki is let me try to look for it. So I have a PR and here. So here is the case. So before this, that V if you don't got any syntax highlight inside, and also the brackets you don't got a syntax highlight inside, and that is because this template is trading as HTML, and this V if and this template is a bit kind of special handling by Vue. So and ideally, like actually, because this syntax highlights is left over to HTML, so it doesn't work well. And I just find that inside the like, I mean but why in VS Code it works, right? And I just find out that's in the Vue language tools. Language tools. This one. So so in this extension and VS Code and syntax. So I find there's a multiple files rather than just Vue TM languages. It also has a Vue directives and interoperation. So directory means that the V if support, and the interpretation is actually the is the syntax inside the bracket. So and they are composed by I mean, I guess this is a bit like down to the line, but they are contributing by here is injection. So here, like you see that Vue directive is injecting to text HTML markdown text HTML, and that means it's injecting to the HTML language. And interesting, like Shiki doesn't support this, it doesn't implement these features beforehand. So even on Shiki, you also get this whiteout thing. And then I figured out to implement that, and I shipped those injection as well. So now you get the correct syntax highlight for the V if and for the something inside it. And then I got these things fixed on the Shiki. So inherently, and sorry, where am I? Yeah, so inherently, like we also got these things working. So this is a bit like very niche things, but I kind of care a lot. So I spend some time working on it. So I also sent a PR to Vue repo. So because they were using the previous logic as well. And all right, so I sent a PR to it, and hopefully it can get merged so that so for sfcvue.org you can also get this syntax highlight as well. So So yeah, that's it. And then we have a PR coming to debounce the editor input. So just use debounce function and from view use. And so this is something that's interesting. I've been thinking about this. So if you see that here, if I type anything here, it's like it just throw an error, right? And because it's something in the middle, we haven't finished the typing it, but it's already saved to that file and get the recompile, and then we got this error. And this is not something we want. I mean, this is something we could improve rather than just debounce this. So what I'm thinking is that because we control the editor and the playgrounds at the same time, so that means we can check if there's any type error inside this file. And when there is a type error, we can just not saving until the error goes out. So we only save when there's no type error. So this can hugely reduce these things to see this flash of thing. And yeah, I think we can enable a flag like a toggle or a config to disable autosave as well. Yeah, I think that's totally valid. And yeah, so yeah, and that's basically it. Ooh. Okay, so that's the catch up about the changes happening in the last week. So about the goal. So about the goal today, I've been thinking that we should start to doing a little bit of on the content side, and if you notice that I wrote a very short introduction here, and here it has a link that's trying to demonstrating that if you go navigating, and if you click that, and you will see that the editor is gone, and the preview got refreshed, and also the terminal is disappeared, and this is quite tricky. So if I refresh this again, so you will see that everything is functional, right? But if I navigate, all those components get re-rendered because we are changing the routing route. So if I click to back to index, you will see that terminal disappear, Monaco disappear, and the preview works because the preview is just an iframe, but it still got a refresh. So this is something not ideal. That's something not we want. So I want to get it fixed. And so there's a multiple way of doing that. And I think the best way to do it is not forcing the right panel to be refreshed. But also like we want those, like when we navigate, we want to like update some files, right? So so that's another story. But at least we want this Monaco editor and terminal to preserve their state. And because they are external integration, that we kind of mount these components unmounted. So that means that when the components get destroyed and create a new one, we need to do some like special handling in order to get those things working. And I mean, they can do that. That can do that if you bind to, if you kind of save this integration, the Monaco editor and the terminal external instance in a global state as a singleton, and then we rebound that to it. But I think the best way is not to destroy those components at all. So so I'm not so sure that's why this would happen, because ideally we only want to change the left side of the content, and to grab some update to the file system. So so here I'm like let's try to understand why. So I didn't know either, but I have a few assumptions. So I think basically if we do Nuxt page, so what is the page? Okay, it's the Nuxt page. So Nuxt page has a router view, right? That's from view router, and I'm not so sure that if they have the key, the attribute. Okay, the page key. What is the page key being used? Okay, so here is the key, right? You see, and where is the key being used? Provide vnode. So that means the key is being generated by the router, and that means that every time we navigate to a page, it'll generating a new key, and the key prevents vnode to merging together. So that means if a DOM that has different keys, they were trading as different components, even though they can be the same. But and then the previous components can be removed in the DOM, and a new DOM tree will be created, and that's something we don't want. So because this is configurable, right? It's a string, and yeah, I actually, so here I'm not so sure if we can do like dummy like how do I spell dummy? Okay, if I do this, I just like putting a static key on it. I'm not so sure if that works. So you have the editor, you back to index. Okay. Okay. Not so bad. It just works. I actually thought there will be like a lot of refactor if I need to remove all this logic back to the app.view or something. I mean, I would expect that I need to spend like 15 or 20 minutes on top of it, but it's actually works. Okay. I'm not so sure if it creates any problem, but I guess it doesn't. I mean, if we're going to have if we're going to have a landing page or something, so and then we can assign this key, but we basically need to assign all single key to the playground, and then another key for the what for the landing page. But I think at this moment we won't have a lot page right now, so we basically have this playground, so just keep a key so that it doesn't changes. Okay, there's an example on Nuxt. I didn't know. I think as you see, I'm not a good reader, so I don't actually read the documentation that much. So I just go to the source code. I'll just find what I need, and okay, and that check together. What's the pages? Where's the pages routing? No, there's not key. So this is a routing, or maybe it's inside the. Where is the list? API. I remember there's a. Where is it? API. Components, composables. Not this one. Key concept, examples. Community. Where? API components. And then, okay, next page. Okay. Good point. Okay, so basically you can have a function, right? So you can choose which routes are kind of shared instance and which are not, right? So you can kind of group them together, or like by default it will be Command K, page key. Oh, that's pretty nice. So so basically, if I want to search for it, I should just go Nuxt page like that, and I will just find that. Okay, that's pretty nice. I mean, the website is super high quality, and but I don't use that much. But I mean, I should. I totally should. And so yeah, just showing you two ways of finding things. But I guess that's I guess reading this might not be easy. Yeah. So there's a lot of things going on or something, and also you need to know what the key is working, how the key is working. Yeah. But yeah, good to it's it's good we have that. So I think we can do a commit, right? Just that commit. So how do I say? Avoid re-rendering. Okay. So yeah, that's some progress. We can call it a day. So so I've been thinking that you see that we kind of spend some time installing the dependency and booting Nuxt server, and I mean it's not something I mean it's something we could improve definitely, and but I think the case for changing tutorial, it might be interesting if we go if we if we don't restart the Nuxt server, we can rely on hard module replacement to get things working. So I guess so. So when we navigate these pages, we can just write to this file rather than starting a new web container server. So in order to do that, I am not so sure that's how I can do it. But so let's try. So we have the content, right? And we have the template. So ideally, I would like to have a contents and app.view, and maybe I could do it. So if I can have a .app.view like that. So what? Like this, maybe? So yeah, let me think about it. So here it's basically I can have a guide. So we can define we can start from defining the interface to see what we want, what do we expect. So we can have a guide meta, and that means that we probably have we could have some features like to say playground features, and for example, like we can have a terminal, which can be a boolean. So here we can have a features and terminal. No, sorry. So that means that we can define which feature to enable. So for some example that we don't need to do it. And then features we can also have show Node.js files. So here it will be interesting that we can hide those like Node.js files. For example, like Nuxt.config and maybe package.json. So we can hide them. So you don't see these things. And also even that file sidebar. I don't know. Yeah, this just brainstorming, but this is the feature that we want to enable or not. And then what are we going to do? Okay, yeah, and starting path. So this will be important. That so for example, like when we want to guide for app.view, I want to when we click these files, we navigate to app.view, and so starting path. So maybe starting file, maybe, and then not so sure. So I think we can do it. So here we can have index.ts, and then we can export meta. We can export console meta, and then we can have a guide meta, and then we basically have starting file. Which is app.view. And we need to import this type. No, it doesn't work. So types and guide. And we have a guide meta. Okay. So here we kind of have these files, right? And we probably also have like package JSON override, something like that. I mean, this can be to do and something like that, but I just brainstorming. And then we could have files. So we could have a files like this, and we can call app.view. No, this is a folder. So we create a app.view, and app.view is basically, okay, this is not these things. And we can have pages server. So we basically have this, right? And we could just have this file, and we just remove next pages. And this is be straightforward. So like we hope that when we navigate to this file, when we navigate to this tutorial, this information will be grabbed automatically. And I mean, what did I say? This file will be grabbed automatically and loaded to the server. So and similarly, we could have like 3. I don't know. Yeah, we could do it later. But so we can basically do like 3 routing, and we copy this file and 3 routing, right? And so here we can have like 3 routing, and the file will be a little bit different. And so here we can have the pages. We could have the pages coming to this file, and then we can have Nuxt page, and then we remove these things. And for example, here we can change this to pages index.view. So I removed the pages from the basic template, and here I think we can have hello world. And this is the base example, maybe template. So we can sure know this thing. All right. So so here, like currently, if I refresh the page, okay, it still load this file. Okay, I think this is our. Okay, let me think about it. So we have this template loader, and template loader currently only load for the template. So what we could do, so if I refresh the page, okay, you will see only this file exists, and that is fair. And I'm thinking that, okay, so what if we have files and record string? So so basically we I mean here, so here is pretty basic, right? So we have an index.thing and we don't have the files, and we want the loader to load this file automatically and then assign these files to the thing we want. So that means okay. Let me think about it. What we could do about it? So let me check if Nuxt content allows me to do some scripting inside the markdown. JSON render content. So this is render content and markdown. Binding data. So this is binding data. And so what I want is like writing a simple script inside it. I'm not so sure if it's possible. Transformers. It's not something I want. So let me go with script. Okay. I guess it's not composable. No, you cannot do that. What I want is like, I just want to have a little script here. I could probably use some modules to do that. So basically I want to import that like what I want to do. Yeah, it's basically want to one.app.view and /index. So I want to import this. So we got a meta, and then I want to kind of have a use router, or like maybe like use Pina. Use playground. Basically we have a playground and use playground, and then we have a playground mount, and then we can have this thing and something like that. No, it's like I want to mount like this. So I want to add this little script on top of it, but script setup. But I guess that would not work. Setup, and then we can have a console.log. Hi, and it's dangerous and it's disabled by default. So you can still do it. What I'm worried about this is not going through the pipeline. So it may not be a good idea. So what I could do, I think, is to in this navigation part. So I think we could the first thing is like we can implement this logic here in the playground. So what I want to do is to have a function. It's called mount guide. And then we have the guide, which is a guide meta. And maybe let's do it async. And then I have a mount. All right. So here, mount the guide and unmount the previous guide. Good. So what I'm thinking is that, so here, let's check. So here you have the template. So here is the mounted template, the files, and the files is like here. So basically we have this thing and we have this basic and we create virtual files, right? And I think that's so basically for now, that's just doing is do a console log and we will implement this logic later. And for mount guide, okay. And here, I think we could do it here. So here is the navigation route. And what we could do is like we can get a router, use router. And router is like after each. And you can get to and from. So we could print that. So basically if you if you check the console log, remove all the thing, and we back to it. And when we navigate, it tells me what's the full path of this thing. So that means that if 2.path equal to, let's say we could hard code it for now, and views, right? It's views.app.view, and that means that we could like play, use playground, store, yeah, and then we could play and we could mount guide. And when we mount guide, we await for import. I guess we shouldn't do await here because it might blocks the hook. So I think what we could do is we import. But maybe blocking is not a bad thing. I don't know. Anyway, so here we will see. So here you can have a content, view, app.view, view, and index. And then is m.meta. All right, the type is working. So hard code it. No. All right, so let's see. If we do here, and if we navigate to this view, okay. So it says mounting guide, and it got the meta we want. So so this is something that we could have. This is something that's I mean, what I want to say. Yeah. This is a good starting point, and then we kind of lacking all those files, right? So so here is that I think the easy way to do it is to adding a magic comment to say hello. I don't know. It's like I mean, I think let me think about it. Bundle, generate file. I don't know. Yeah, you can just do that. So here, I think I will do a little bit of magic here. So basically, what we want to do is basically we're injecting meta.files and then the file content that we read it from these files. So that we still manage those files in a file system, but we can grab them programmatically, and that's the spurt. And so if we put a magic comment like this, what we could do and is to write a VS Code. Sorry, to write a Vite plugin to transform it. So we can go to our module, and here, add template. We can add a Vite plugin. Let me do it. So it's like add Vite plugin. So we have a name and Vite. Let's do Nuxt playground, template loader, maybe. So we do transform. So transform accept a code and ID, and ID is like it goes through every file. So if we check that, so we can check that magic comment. So we can copy these things, and so we can call magic comment equal to this. So if code include magic comment, we do something, but we can also do like if it's not, we just return it. We don't care about it. So and then we can log it to say transforming ID maybe, and then if we restart the server, and this is the main server. So all right. Okay, so it does not fire when you first navigating. It's only when we navigate to. Transform. It doesn't print anything at all. So what if we just enforce pre? And also like I think we should do it here. It's like we should do so we can have a pass, and we do here, and if pass is like this. So we basically do amount here and also like amount here. Yeah. So this is after each. So the first navigation will be not being called. So we can call these things as well. I guess we should do it on unmounted, so it happens on the client side. All right. So if I refresh it, and all right. So here you have the mount guide directly. And do we have any console here? No, we don't have any console log here. So that's a bit weird. So if we print log here, okay, you see there's a lot of files, and this is code, right? Generate files for meta. Oh, is that because this command got removed? That doesn't make sense either. code and ID. Oh, wait, you see this file. I think it is working. And so here, if I refresh it, yeah, I will see code, and that's the exactly file I want. So here, I'm basically looking for so the ID is like the file path, right? So I'm basically looking for the file directory, and file directory is, we can do like directory name of the ID. We can do resolve as well. So we can do resolve. So files directory equal to resolve ID, and we go up up one level and to go up to the files, and then we do files. And then what we do here is like we go, okay. All right, thank you, Copilot. So now we have those files, right? We can use fast globe to globe the file, and we globe all the files excluding those files, and we including dots, and we put the command here, and we don't need the absolute, I think. So we got the list of the files, so we can do like console log files. We can try. Yeah, it's called lazily when we're importing this file. So that's why I'm fixing this navigation issue. So here, you see these files, it's app.view, is grabbing this file. So, and that means the file map is like this, and then we could have a wait for all, we just read all these files. Okay, amazing. So basically, I think we have the file name. Oh, the sort. I don't think the sort matters. But now the file name is actually, because we disabled absolute, so we need to join this. So we can do resolve and this and file name. So we do the content, and we do the file. We have the files map, and that check. If I refresh the page, and okay, I got the content of the app.view, and that's nice. So what we're going to do here is we just code, and we return the code, and we replace the magic comment with not this, with meta.files equal to this. So after I'm doing this, let's do a flash refresh in order to make sure. So yeah, I think now we have the functionality working. So if you check the mount guide, and here you have the files, and the file, the content is message hello world, and that's from our file system, and this is loading as a JSON object. So if you go to this file, okay, I mean if you can go to the source in the network, I guess. Okay, so should I refresh? I think I should refresh in order to see this file. Oh, I got a typo. I'm sorry. So network. So index.ts. No. Okay, so here we have the content view, and so when you got the preview, you see that this is the file we have, and this is file that we injected. And if you want to see more clearly how it's going, you can go to the dev tool, and inside the dev tool, you could have a bit like this inspect, and we can search for this index file, and you go here, and you will see this is load, right? This is the original file we have, and this is the magic comment we have, and then we have this Nuxt playground template loader that's inserting this. We can replace this magic comment with this file. So I'm showing a div here. But if what can I disable the div? What? But anyway, you see that this is being replaced by meta files, and then this is like done by esbuild, and this is import analyze. So this is happening exactly what we want. We swap this file, and ideally, what we could do is like we also can grab all these files without this magic command. We can also insert. We can always insert these things by their path. But I mean, we don't need to do this right now. But it's just like we can do magic comments, or you can use the convention of the files. Either way, the goal is to inserting from the file system to the JavaScript. So now we have the files, and that means we should write these things to our thing, right? So yeah, and then go to the playground, go to the mount guide, and I think we need to do the types. So again, I think the mount. Okay, the mount is a promise. So I think it's better for us to do like a mount promise, and we do mount promise. So we make sure that here we await for it. So we make sure that the template is being mounted correctly before we mount the guide. So because the guide, we need to override some files, right? So I'm not so sure how we do it. So we can do is like create, get or create file, like that. And then, yeah, so we have a file path and content. So we got a file. And file is like we're looking for that files. And there's no file path. Okay, file path equal to file path. And if there is a file, like maybe there's no file, and then we create a new file, virtual file, and we import that virtual file, and we assign the web container instance to it. And so I think it's better to do like this. And then we new file, we have a write, and we set the content. Because I think we have a, okay, we always write the content. We don't care about this. Okay, and then it's fine that we can pass to, so we basically want to save to web container, and this is the write. And then we push this file, and then we return this file. Otherwise, we do write this new content and we return the file. What happened? Okay, yeah. So here, what we could do is like we can get entries, and then we have these things. We got to create files. So what we could do is map, because this is a promise. And then we do await promise, or so what it does is like basically if there's a file existing inside the web container, inside the web container, we'll just, I think it's better to do like this. Else. Yeah. So we find the file. If the file exists in the template, we just override it. And if it's not, we'll create a new virtual file and we still write it. And so it creates a new file. And yeah, that's it. Let's see if I refresh the page. If I go to add view, you see, this is being replaced. And I mean, what we could do is like we can add a routing. So a bit manually here. So we could do if path equal to views routing, right? And we do mount, and we do 3.routing. All right. Maybe I could do else if. Okay. And then we basically need a page. We basically need an index here. So what we could do is a routing here, and we go with views routing. So we go back to index. So here you see the app.view is hello world, and this is the basic template. And when you go to the views, it doesn't work. Oh, I guess it's okay. I guess it's that it doesn't triggers the Monaco to read the file. So this is something that it's like visually, but I think let's refresh again. So let's ignore the editor for now, but I think it works. So basically you will see the content here. Done in 7 minutes, 7 seconds. So that's a bit slow. So here you see this is hello world. This is a basic example, right? And when we click the views, it goes to hello world, and this being replaced to hello world. And we go back to index, but index we don't have anything now. But if we go to routing, oh, I guess there's an error. Do they? Document is not defined. So, okay, I think that's interesting. I think I need a way to refresh the file tree and the file. So we have the editor. So whenever the file changes, it should triggers the change. Oh yeah, I think that's the first thing. I mean the routing, we should change to routing. Shallow riff, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. But let's check first. So if the routing has the files, okay, the routing does not have the files. I guess there's because we don't have the control command. Okay, I'm fighting with Ghost. All right, and now you see there's the files, but files is not failed. This is something I was like looking for, because the pages directory does not exist. So what are we going to do? Is inside the file. I guess maybe it's better to not do it here, but it's more like doing it here. So what we could do is to ensure the directory exists. So I'm not so sure if I can do it actually. The web container.value file system and make directory, and can you do it? So if I do directory name from passy, yeah. So you can do recursive. That's pretty nice. So basically we ensure the directory exists, and we refresh the page, And at least we should see no error. Great. And the file, yeah, I think you are right. It's shallow rev, and it probably should be shallow reactive. And then we have the files, and oh, so then we basically push it like that. All right, and then we don't need this. We don't need this. And yeah, I wonder if that works. Okay, cool. You see those files being created. All right, and we got the navigation, and we back to this, and we go to the views app.view, and it's changed to hello world, and that's amazing. And what we want to do here is the to do is to trigger the editor update. And here, so we basically want to unmount the previous guide. So I think that's guide dispose equal to yeah, a function of array. So I guess that's if we put these things inside. So here we do return. So if we create a new file, and I'm wonder if this is better to do as a set. So I can remove it more easily. So you can have a new set like that. And we have files for each file. Like that. Oh, then I don't have a find. Oh, it's better to be a map. Maybe. So map then will be string and file. And add that is, I think it's set, and file path dot file. All right, and then we have this find. So we basically get file path, and if it's not, and then we set to file path. And when in the dispose, we just delete these things. And so for the web container, and we also remove this file. So it's unlinked. Wait, what? No. It's like web container. Remove file path and await like that, I think. So so here is like adding a new disposal, and okay, and then we got the old content read, and this is string and guide dispose. So we basically write it back. like that. I'm not so sure, but we could do. And here, what if we have a guide as undefined? Could be undefined. So here we basically have for each dispose, or maybe it's better to map. So it can be a promise. So here is basically this one. So we unmount this previous guide, and then we mount the guide. And if it's not a guide, we return it. So it can be a mount guide. When we call with a 0 argument, it's basically just unmounted. So also here, then we could do else. So we do play mount guide with empty. So that means unmount previous guide, like that. And what do? What? Okay, files filter. It's not. Okay. Those are not going to work. So basically you have a values, and now this is a map. All right, and files, filter. Okay, this one, this should be a set. And maybe we don't need this. Maybe we don't need this. We can just directly grab the play. So it's play.files, and then we don't have the filter. And then we basically have from, and then we have values. Oh yeah, the reason we need array.from is that because file is a map, and in order to get the content of the map, you use .value, and .value is returning an iterator of that file, and it's not an array, so it does not have filter. Even though you can use a for loop to loop it, you don't have the filter function, so you need to convert it to array. I'm not so sure why it's being designed like that, but you always need to wrap with the array from, or if you prefer, you can also use this. They work the same, and I think I prefer array from anyway. So here we basically need to do that, and we don't need this, and we don't need this. So if I refresh the page. All right, and then you will see here we have the message. It's hello world, and if I go back to it, okay, it's not working. Okay, I think I forgot something. So basically, I think I forgot. Wait, where is it? It's in playground. And after the disposal being disposed, we should clean up this dispose. Let's try. So here, we have this hello world, and this is a basic template. Let's wait for the server to boot. That's a lot of error. I mean, those errors are not. Okay, so here you have the hello world. This is the basic template, and because we are on the root of the guide, and if we click views, it goes to hello world. Well, that's the editor is not refreshed, but if I click away and back, they will get a refresh. So you got hello world, and if you go back, you see it's go back to the hello world example. And if I go to routing, and because it's enable routing, so it will restart the Nuxt server, and you got hello, and you got You got all these files, and this is the next page, and you got the navigation. It's pretty good. And you go back to index, and it's doing that again. But okay, you got it. So that's pretty cool. So we basically need to do a little bit. I think we only mount the guide here. And then what we need to do is basically also like restart, refresh. What's the function called? What's the function name? Restart server. We're not doing restart server. Update page URL. So what do we have? A preview, refresh iframe. Okay. So I think what we could do here is to and then we can do update preview URL dot I mean we should go to the location, this one. All location equal to this. And you see, this is interesting. So it's starting path. So we probably also want starting URL. And then we have starting URL. So for the page, they can for the guide, they can specify that's which page, which URL they want to go. And I wonder if this would work. So I basically want to get rid of the Nuxt reload, but with our reload here. Do you use touchpad or mouse? I use both. Like I'm when I'm working on something, I don't really think about like I'm using which, and just get things work, get things done. Okay, this is probably not good. Or maybe if status the value equal to ready, we go to like that. I mean, maybe this would be better. I should have refreshed that. Yeah. Okay. And then we basically, when we go to the page.view, is working. It's refresh the page, and we go to routing. It's wait for booting Nuxt server, and you got it. And You see there's a flash of the screen. That was because I disabled the server-side rendering, and I should probably turn it on at some point. So I think it's looking good now. Okay, this is not good. I want the page to be refreshed, but it's not. Restarting Nuxt. Okay, so it's restarting Nuxt. Should I wait a bit more? I think I need to test out a little bit more. Document is not defined. I'm not so sure, but we will see. So maybe I'm not doing this at this moment. But I think let's get the editor update working. I think that would be more important. So I think let's get editor. So selected file. So what I'm thinking is that selected file should be controlled by the playground. So that means here selected file, and we return a selected file. I mean, this should be improved, but we'll see. Or maybe we can call it file selected. Then that would be more. Call file selected, and it can be together with the files. And then here, the editor here. So we basically play the selected file, don't know. And we probably don't need this. So play the file selected equal to file. So this is play, and play the file selected. Oh no, I think I made a typo here. Selected file. Yeah, it is. It is play file selected. Okay, I think the case is like here. I should wrap with a row, so it should be shallow ref, and then we should have a row here, so it'll be compatible. Okay, it'll be compatible, and play the file selected. Play the file selected, and we don't need this. Interesting. And here, maybe we should also have a mounted guide, and we have a guide map, and we have the mounted guide. So here, what do we do is to mounted guide value.guide, otherwise mounted guide.value.undefined. So I think we can put it inside. Oh, maybe not. So the reason here is like I want to always navigate to full path. So, and also here is like file selected equal to files.get. So starting file, and what starting file is app.view. And with the mount guide thing, and we could trigger it here. So we basically trigger it here like play the mounted guide. Whenever the guide changes, and what we could do here is to read the file again. So, okay. So here you see this editor, and then if I navigate to this, all right, it does not change. That's interesting. Is this because of this array? Maybe I should do it like here. I don't really think so. But let's do it. So so whenever the guide changes, the value, the content should changes as well. No, it doesn't. Okay, but it does navigate. So when I go back to routing, it go to the pages index.view. And if I go back to index, it's go back to app.view. But here, it does not changes. So that's a little bit weird, because I assign this value after I update these files, right? And I mean, it should trigger it. So I don't really need this. And I do expose it. Mount guide. Oh, I didn't. Really? Oh yeah, I did. So when the file selected changes and get or create file, right? I mean, this should be update or create file. This is right, this is blocking. Yeah. It looks okay, but I'm not so sure why it's not updating. Input up. It is input, right? Oh, I think it's maybe because inside this thing. I think it's like in the Monaco editor, I forgot to update it. So pops model value. All right. So I think the case is like because here, wait, what? Here, okay. So whenever the value changes, we should do it. We should update it. So we basically watch model value. Okay. Okay, Copilot, thank you. It's saving me a lot of time. So we're back to index. Okay. This is not working. So when I navigate to the pages, the editor changes. Cool. I think we basically have it, and of course there's a lot cleanup we could do, a lot like refactor, but I think we got a basic function work. Great. So switch navigate. All right, and I'll push it. Let me do a link to see if I missed something. I guess I would. Yes, I do. And type check. So apply for links. All right. And yeah. All right, I think we can call it a day. I'm kind of proud of about today's progress. At least we are not facing super big bugs. Yeah. All right, and yeah, and I changed the icon thing. I'm just playing with that. I just find that yesterday. And where is the thing name? Let me search for it. Icons. This one is caption. Cap is cat. Caption. Yes, cappuccino. I don't know. So this one is capturing icons for VS Code. I just found that yesterday, and I thought this is nice looking, and interesting. They got covers. They got a lot of folders covered, and I pretty like it. I mean, I pretty like they kind of put a little touch on each folder. So I'm trying it, and I'm trying it to see if it fits to my taste. And so far it's looking good. And I like the all icons are kind of rework and they kind of have unified design. I guess the only downside is like it's a big blue thingy, I guess. And my thing is gray. So we don't have any, it's like pure gray. And it's not cold gray. So I probably think that if the background changed to cold gray, it would be a little bit better. I mean, we could also try the thing from this. Is this one, right? Okay, latte. Okay, I don't like purple thing, to be honest, but okay. I don't know. I don't like changes actually. Okay. Oh, I'll change it back. Sorry. Uh, should we write Pina stay outside of Pina? I don't actually see any issue about it. I don't know. I mean, to me it's not an issue, but maybe I'll ask Eduardo. But I don't think, because this is just a riff, right? It is a riff that's updating the other thing, and I see this file is getting bigger. We should probably separate a little bit. But I don't see a big issue about it. I don't know. Because it's just a riff. It's just a riff, and the store is just a reactive. I mean, you're supposed to able to update it, because we also did that for status, right? We updated status for in a many place. Hello. Even though we're about to going to end. All right. So we have I think we have a few minutes. So let's make it until 4 o'clock. So it's like until 4 my time. So we have 9 minutes. So if I have any questions, let me know in the comment and I will try to answer. And I'm sorry, I saw there's a few comments, a few questions during the streaming, and 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 I didn't got a chance to answer because I need to focus on the thing I've been working on. So the first is that what next project you want to stream after this? So uh so short answer is like I don't know. And it's actually I kind of enjoying the thing I don't know. Because this actually Nuxt Playground is something I planned for a while, and I just want to do it from scratch. So I was like busy doing traveling and conference. So I find this time slot at the end of this year to do this streaming. So it's something that we have been planned for half a year or something. It's in our mind, and I just keep that idea until that I have the time to do the streaming. So this is a bit like already planned project. But I also like that to do some project that's without any plan. It's just like I just come up an idea yesterday, and I would like to share, and I would like to build together with you. So I would just create a temporary live streaming, and I would do it. So that I think I would enjoy more about that moment, and to explore something new. And I don't know, I don't know what's going on. And I did that in the Chinese community streaming a few times, and I made a few projects on during that. And if you know that, it's like a retype writer, and also the import global import meta globe thing in Vite. I think in V3 that we rewrite the whole thing, and I did that on live streaming as well. So I like that if we can doing the streaming, working on some new idea, and that is not that concrete. And also, like, I think depends on what you want to see as well. I can also show you my daily workflow, or reviewing PRs. I mean, there's a lot of things to review, and that would also help. And we can also do view use or Nuxt, or trying to dig with some AnJS package. I mean, there's a lot of topic we could do, and yeah, and so we'll see. I'm not so sure that how long this project going to take. I feel this is almost finished. The functional size, I mean the function wise, is almost finished, and we just need to clean a little bit, and then fill with the content. And fill with the content takes a lot of time, and it's probably not good for streaming, I guess. I don't know. And for the questions above, how do I delete cookies on Nuxt server correctly? The request goes from the client to the Nuxt server and should be deleted, but nothing happened. I use delete cookie. To be honest, I don't know. And I think that I'm not be able to help without this information. So I think that's for those kind of questions, it's better to try with to kind of narrow down the issue. So the issue could be a few courses. It's like your server is broken, or Nuxt is broken, or your setup is broken, or there's anything wrong with your configuration, right? There's a multiple possibility of that something doesn't work. So the first thing is like you should narrow down why this would happen by trying different browsers, or create a minimum reproduction with the Nuxt, and then you if during that way you find something weird, and you probably solve your questions, your problems, and you don't even need to ask. And if you find out that's a Nuxt issue, and create a Nuxt issue, create an issue in the Nuxt repo with a reproduction you made, and then we could help on it. But with such which like you just describe something doesn't work, it may not be that helpful for us to help you. And yeah. Confuse ESLint config prettier, but uh, so for linting and formatting, I mean, there's a lot of tools and there's a lot of opinions, and it's just like different tools for different purpose or different opinions. It's just like Vue and React and Nuxt. So I mean, they can put together, but they are actually in a different scope. And if you compare Nuxt and Vue, and I would say it's quite meaningless, because Nuxt including Vue and Nuxt can do Vue could do, but I mean, they are for different purpose and different scope, and you cannot really directly compare them. So for the ESLint, for Prettier, for OXLint, for Biome, it's just different tools, and you need to look into their documentation to see what they are exactly for and what they are designed for, and if they can work together or they are designed to replace the others or something like that. So it's hard to explain. There's so many things, right? Do you have any tips for debugging memory leaks in a Nuxt module? Uh, I don't know. As you see, that's I'm not good at debugging. My debugging level is super entry level. I use console log, right? I use console log all the time, so I may not be able to help you, but I will just try to console log a few times and here and there to see. But I mean, if you want to debug node process, and VS Code comes with a tool to say that start debug. What's that? I think you here it has a terminal, and here you create a JavaScript debug terminal, and then every command you type, like every node server you start from this terminal, you will get the expector, and you can get the breakpoint. You can see the local variables, and I mean it's super convenient already. You don't need to set up anything, and but I I just feel that I'm not into using that much. I mean, console log works, but for memory leaks, you probably better need this. But I would do with console log, and I think for memory leak, it takes practice. I don't know. I would say I was just looking at the code to see what could leaks, but it's not always the case. Yeah, I think heaps mashup would do. Otherwise, I'm not so sure that how you can do is memory leak. I mean, there's a lot of way, a lot of different type of memory leaks, and it's hard to find a general way, general step. Uh, or if you have something that's lacking the tooling support, uh, you can build a tool, right? I don't know. Yeah, I think for node debugging, I think the tool support is already great. You have the editor directly support that. You can jump to the files. You can jump to the scope. It's pretty nice already. But I just I just lazy to do that, I guess. Well, that I can just console log and rerun the server. But also, I think that's also I don't know. All right, so that's quite a day, and let me check. What's the next stream? So you can find it on my profile, on my channel, and I think the next one is okay. January. It's January 9, I think. So it's a next year. So the next streaming will be in the next year, January 9, and hope you have a nice holiday and Merry Christmas maybe. And there's a one schedule in 28th. Oh yeah, true, true. Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah. So that would be the next one will be December 28th, and that will be after Christmas, right? And yeah. So yeah, hope you enjoying your holiday, and yeah, I will see you on December 28th. Otherwise, next year. So also Happy New Year. Okay, right. And see you then. Hope you enjoying today's live streaming. Okay, let's see.